And I want to talk about you, Michael, young Michael Saylor. What were you up to at the end of high school, going into college? What did you think you were going to do with your life? What were you interested in?
Um, I grew up on Air Force bases
Wow.
all around the world. So I was Air Force brat. And in high school, I guess I came of age when there were four honorable professions for a teenage male: rock star, astronaut, professor, or CEO. So those were, and rock star could be like rock star slash astronaut. Sorry, no, it was it was rock star, astronaut, fighter pilot. So it was like either a fighter pilot leading to astronaut or just one or the other. And then professor and CEO. So I started wanting to be a rock star when I was in high school. And my senior year, I saw a band playing at a May Day festival, and they were all really good. And I thought they could all sing and they could all play, and they were extraordinary. And I walked up afterwards and I said, "How much did you make for the gig?" And it worked out to be like $30 each for the musicians. And I concluded that it might be risky to be a rock star. And I had won a scholarship to MIT, an Air Force scholarship. So I thought, well, maybe I should go to MIT and get an engineering degree, because at least I'll be able to make enough money to buy my amplifier and pay for my electric guitars and the like. So it seemed like a safe thing to do. So I took the scholarship. I went to MIT and I studied aerospace engineering, spaceship design.
Wow.
So along the way, I kind of figured, well, I'll design spaceships, be a fighter pilot, be a test pilot, be an astronaut. And that worked out well until my senior year at MIT. And I was misdiagnosed with a heart murmur that disqualified me from being a fighter pilot. So depression set in, because if you can't, this is like Top Gun era. You can imagine telling a 21-year-old alpha male that he can't be a fighter pilot, or, if you can't be a fighter pilot, you can't be a test pilot. And if you can't be a test pilot, you can't be an astronaut. So all of a sudden my world was turned upside down. And I guess I'd lost touch with the rock star thing. I'd probably concluded that I wasn't going to be a rock star, and I wasn't going to be the fighter pilot. So I decided I wanted to be a professor, and I was going to get a PhD. But it costs a lot of money. And as you remember, I said I went on an Air Force ROTC scholarship, but I didn't have a scholarship for the PhD, and it was obscenely expensive. So I thought, I'll work in the real world for a year, 2 years, and I'll apply to all the PhD programs and I'll apply for a fellowship. So I started working and I built computer simulations. Turns out nonlinear system dynamic simulations, simulations of complex systems. And this is interesting because economics is all about complex systems. Like if you raise the price, you get more of the product. And if you put a price control, then you get less of the thing and you get shortages. So learning to create the dynamic, or learning to simulate or predict the dynamic behavior of a complicated system uh, is interesting. It's a good formative experience. So that's what I did in my early 20s. And at age 24, I got the fellowship. I was into the MIT PhD program, and I was ready to go back and get my PhD and be a professor. And when I tendered my letter of resignation, my employer wanted me to finish this computer program I was working on. And they wanted it done because they were using it to justify about $1 billion capital investment in one of their businesses. And it wasn't my $1 billion, so I didn't really have a lot of skin in the game, but they wanted the billion. And I said, I'm just going back to school. And they said, well, what can we do to convince you? And I went back to my checklist of rock star, no; fighter pilot, no; I'm going to be a professor. Yeah, there was only one thing left on the list, was be a CEO. And since no one's going to make me the CEO, I figured I had to start my own company to be CEO. And I said, the only thing I really want is to start a company and be CEO. So if you will finance that and set me up in business, then I'll defer going to college or going back. So they thought about it and they decided that they wanted that computer program finished. So I was able to hire my staff at DuPont. That was the company I was working at, and they gave me, I think I got many millions of dollars of early contracts. And I was able to start up the company and be the primary shareholder and the CEO. And I figured, well, I'll just do this till it fails. And the first year there was like 9 employees, and the next year it was 12, and then it was 20, and then it was 40, and then it was 80, and then it was 160, and it kept doubling and doubling and doubling. And at some point, I realized I wasn't going to fail, and I wasn't going to get the PhD. So that was MicroStrategy. And I'm still at MicroStrategy, and yeah, I still wouldn't mind being a professor, but in a roundabout way, Randy, I kind of became a professor,
You did.
after the lockdowns, but not the way I expected I would be.
I feel like life isn't what you expect a lot of the time. Just like you expected to maybe be a rock star, then you wanted to be a pilot, then you didn't expect to get that like misdiagnosis with the heart murmur, and things kind of just went a different path for you. But I feel like it's all nothing you expect in life. And what connected you to music? I know you said you had a guitar that you wanted to play. What connected you to music? What connected you to want to be a pilot?
Well,